Crash landing on an alien world. The vastness of space shimmered with countless stars, a beautiful yet deceptive calm that masked the chaos unfolding within it. A sleek, silver vessel streaked through the darkness, its smooth lines marred by scorch marks and trailing debris. Inside the ship, alarms blared and emergency lights flashed, casting an eerie red glow over the interior. Zara, a human astronaut, gripped the controls of her scout ship, her muscles straining with the effort. She fought to keep the craft stable, her eyes darting between holographic displays as she assessed the damage and searched for a safe haven. Computer, status report. Zara shouted over the cacophony of alarms. A calm, artificial voice responded. Hull integrity at 23%. Engine core unstable. Life support systems failing. Recommend immediate evacuation. Zara gritted her teeth, her mind racing. Evacuation was not an option, not in this uncharted sector of space, far from any human outposts. Her mission to map this region had gone horribly wrong when she'd stumbled upon a hidden outpost of the Vorax, a notoriously aggressive alien species. The ensuing chase and firefight had left her ship crippled and her options limited. As if sensing her thoughts, the computer chimed in. Habitable planet detected within range. Caution. Unknown classification. High risk of hostile fauna and flora. It'll have to do, Zara muttered, adjusting her course. Better than suffocating in space. The scout ship plummeted towards the planet, its outer hull glowing red-hot as it tore through the atmosphere. Zara fought to control the descent, but with the engine sputtering and the controls barely responding, it was a losing battle. The ground rushed up to meet her, a blur of purple vegetation and jagged rock formations. With a deafening crash, the ship slammed into the alien landscape, carving a deep furrow through the strange flora. Metal screamed and tore, and Zara was thrown violently against her restraints. Pain exploded through her body as the ship finally came to a stop, half buried in the purple soil of this unknown world. Silence fell, broken only by the hiss of escaping gases and the quiet crackle of electrical fires. Zara hung limply in her chair, drifting in and out of consciousness. Blue blood, the color of a clear sky, oozed from a gash on her head, and one of her arms hung at an unnatural angle, clearly broken. Computer, Zara rasped, her voice barely above a whisper. Damage report. The AI's voice came back distorted and full of static. Critical damage to all systems. Atmosphere breathable, but high concentrations of unknown spores. Recommend immediate medical. The voice cut out, leaving Zara alone in the eerie silence. With agonizing slowness, she unstrapped herself from the pilot's chair, crying out as pain lanced through her broken arm. She stumbled to the emergency supply locker, fumbling with the latch using her good arm. Inside, she found a medkit, emergency rations, and a portable distress beacon. Zara injected herself with a painkiller and stimulant cocktail, wincing as the chemicals coursed through her system. The pain dulled to a manageable throb, and her head cleared slightly. She knew she needed to assess her situation and secure the crash site. With difficulty, she made her way to the ship's airlock. The door was jammed, warped by the impact. Using all her strength, she managed to force it open a crack, just wide enough to squeeze through. The alien world that greeted her was both beautiful and terrifying. The purple vegetation she had glimpsed during her descent covered everything in sight, pulsating slightly as if alive and breathing. The air was thick and humid, filled with glowing spores that drifted lazily on the breeze. Zara activated her wrist computer, scanning the environment. The readings were unlike anything she had ever seen. The plant life seemed to be one interconnected organism, communicating through electrical impulses and chemical signals. The spores in the air were part of its reproductive cycle, but their effect on non-native life forms was unknown. As she took a tentative step forward, a sharp pain in her side caused her to stumble. She looked down to see a piece of metal shrapnel embedded in her torso, blue blood seeping around it. The stimulants had masked the injury, But now the gravity of her situation became clear. She was badly hurt, stranded on an unknown and potentially hostile world, with no way to call for help. Gritting her teeth, Zora forced herself to focus. She needed shelter, a defensible position where she could treat her wounds and plan her next move. The crash had created a clearing in the dense vegetation, but she could see the plants already starting to creep towards the ship, tendrils reaching out as if to reclaim the space. Using a laser cutter from her emergency kit, Zora cleared a small area near the ship's hull. She set up the distress beacon, knowing that the chances of it being detected this far from human space were slim. Still, it was better than nothing. As she worked, movement in the purple foliage caught her eye. Something was watching her, its presence just out of sight. Zara froze, her hand moving slowly to the blaster at her hip. The vegetation rustled again, closer this time. Suddenly, a creature burst from the undergrowth. It was unlike anything Zora had ever seen. A six-legged predator with iridescent scales and multiple eyes that glowed with an inner light. Its mouth, filled with needle-sharp teeth, opened in a silent snarl. Zara raised her blaster, but her injured arm shook, and the shot went wide, scorching the creature's flank. It let out a piercing shriek and charged towards her, its claws extended. Zara braced herself for the impact, knowing that in her weakened state, she might not survive the encounter. As the creature bore down on her, she closed her eyes and whispered a silent prayer, hoping against hope that someone, somewhere, would hear her distress beacon and come to her aid. Encounter with an alien creature. Zara's heart raced as the six-legged predator lunged at her, its sharp claws glinting in the dim light filtering through the foliage. She barely had time to react. Adrenaline surged through her veins, sharpening her senses. The creature's multiple glowing eyes seemed to lock onto her, filled with a predatory hunger that sent chills down her spine. A desperate escape. In a split-second decision, Zora pivoted on her good leg and sprinted away from the ship, dodging between the thick purple tendrils of the alien plants. The ground was uneven and treacherous, but she pushed herself to run faster, knowing that her life depended on it. Behind her, she could hear the creature's claws scraping against the ground as it pursued her. Zara's mind raced as she searched for a place to hide. The dense vegetation offered some cover, but it also concealed many dangers. She spotted a narrow crevice between two large rock formations ahead and made a beeline for it. With a final burst of energy, she dove into the space just as the creature lunged again, missing her by mere inches. The Cave of Secrets. Inside the crevice, Zara pressed herself against the cool rock wall, trying to control her ragged breathing. She could hear the creature outside, sniffing and prowling as it searched for her. The shadows danced around her as she peered out cautiously, watching as it circled the entrance. After what felt like an eternity, the creature finally lost interest and slinked away into the underbrush. Zara let out a shaky breath, relief washing over her. But she knew she couldn't stay hidden forever. She needed to find a more secure shelter. As she explored deeper into the crevice, it opened up into a larger cave. The walls were adorned with strange markings that glowed faintly in the darkness. Zara's curiosity piqued despite her situation. These symbols hinted at an ancient civilization that once thrived on this planet. Ancient echoes. Zara moved cautiously through the cave, careful not to disturb anything that might attract unwanted attention. The air was cooler here, and she could feel a slight draft that hinted at further passages within. As she examined the markings more closely, she realized they depicted scenes of what appeared to be alien beings interacting with their environment, hunting, gathering, and living in harmony with nature. Suddenly, she heard a soft, rustling sound behind her. Spinning around with her blaster at the ready, Zara prepared for another confrontation. However, what emerged from the shadows was not another predator, but a small creature resembling a cross between a rabbit and a lizard. Its skin shimmered like polished stone under the faint light. A new friend. The creature approached cautiously, its large eyes blinking curiously at Zara. It seemed harmless enough, and after a moment of hesitation, Zora lowered her weapon. She had no idea if this creature was friendly or if it would lead more predators to her location. To her surprise, it hopped closer and sniffed at her boot before darting back slightly as if sensing her injuries. Zara knelt down slowly, extending a hand in friendship. "Hey there," she whispered softly. "I'm not going to hurt you." The creature tilted its head in response and cautiously approached again. It nudged its snout against her hand as if offering comfort. A small smile broke across Zora's face. Perhaps this planet wasn't entirely hostile after all. Understanding through connection. Zara spent some time observing this new companion as it explored the cave around her. She noticed how it interacted with its surroundings, sniffing at plants and occasionally nibbling on small roots that grew from the cave floor. It seemed to possess an innate understanding of its environment. As hours passed in relative safety within the cave, Zara began to feel more at ease. She took this opportunity to tend to her wounds using supplies from her medkit while keeping an eye on her new friend. The little creature watched intently as she cleaned and bandaged herself up. It chirped softly now and then as if encouraging her efforts. Zara couldn't help but feel grateful for its presence. In this alien world filled with danger and uncertainty, this small connection provided some much-needed comfort. An unexpected ally. After treating herself as best as she could manage with limited supplies, Zara decided to name the creature Pebble, due to its smooth skin and small size reminiscent of stones scattered across riverbeds back home. With Pebble by her side, Zara felt a renewed sense of determination. They were both survivors in this strange land. Her human ingenuity paired with Pebble's instinctive knowledge of their surroundings could create an advantage in navigating this perilous planet. As night fell outside the cave entrance, Zara knew she needed to gather more information about this world if she hoped to survive long enough for rescue or find a way off this planet herself. Mapping their surroundings. Using the dim light from Pebble's bioluminescent markings for guidance, Zara began sketching out rough maps of their surroundings on a piece of scrap metal from her ship's wreckage. She noted locations where dangerous creatures had been sighted and areas where food sources might be found based on Pebble's behavior. The markings on the cave walls continued to intrigue her. They hinted at stories of survival against overwhelming odds, much like her own situation now unfolding before her eyes. With each passing hour spent in this cave, with Pebble exploring their surroundings together, Zara began feeling less like an isolated astronaut lost in space, but rather part of something larger than herself, a shared struggle for survival against nature's challenges. Planning for tomorrow. As dawn broke over this alien world once again illuminating their hidden sanctuary, the glow from outside cast intriguing shadows across their makeshift camp inside. The time had come for action. Zara realized they needed food and water if they were going to endure another day here while waiting for rescue or finding means of escape themselves. With Pebble leading the way through narrow tunnels leading deeper into unknown territory, Zara felt both excitement mixed with trepidation about what lay ahead. She hoped that together they could uncover secrets hidden within these ancient caves while forging bonds stronger than any fear could break apart. As they ventured forth into uncharted territory hand in hand, or paw in hand, the spirit of exploration ignited within them both. Two unlikely allies united by fate, against all odds ready to face whatever challenges awaited them next. The arrival of a human rescue ship. Days turned into weeks as Zara and Pebble explored the intricate network of caves, uncovering more clues about the planet's mysterious past. They encountered strange creatures, some hostile and others seemingly indifferent to their presence. Zara's injuries slowly healed, thanks to the medicinal properties of certain plants Pebble had guided her to. A glimmer of hope. One day, while foraging for food near the crash site, Zora's wrist computer suddenly came to life, its display flickering with an incoming transmission. She rushed back to the cave, Pebble trailing behind her, and activated the device. A holographic image materialized, revealing the face of a human man. "This is Captain Ryder of the Galactic Alliance rescue ship Endeavor. "We received your distress signal. Hold tight, we're coming to get you." Zara's heart soared with joy and relief. After weeks of isolation and uncertainty, help had finally arrived. She quickly sent a reply, providing her coordinates and a brief update on her situation. A dangerous encounter. As Zara prepared to leave the cave and make her way to the crash site, Pebble began to act strangely. The small creature darted around nervously, its eyes wide with fear. Zara followed its gaze and saw movement in the distance, a massive, hulking figure emerging from the shadows. It was the powerful alien predator she had glimpsed only once before, its glowing eyes fixed on her. Zara grabbed her blaster, ready to defend herself. But the creature seemed uninterested in her. Instead, it let out a deafening roar that echoed through the caves, summoning more of its kind. A daring escape. Zara realized that the rescue ship's arrival had drawn the attention of the predators, and they were now converging on the crash site. She had to warn Captain Ryder and find a way to guide the ship to her location without leading the creatures straight to it. With Pebble by her side, Zara sprinted through the caves, dodging between the predators as they pursued her. She emerged into the clearing near the crash site, only to find the Endeavor locked in battle with the hostile aliens that had attacked her ship. Laser fire streaked through the air as the two ships exchanged blows. Zara watched in horror as the Endeavor took heavy damage, its shields flickering. She knew she had to act quickly to turn the tide of the battle. A desperate plan. Zara searched the crash site for anything she could use to her advantage. She found the remains of her ship's engines and began to assemble a makeshift explosive device. As the predators closed in, she set the trap and lured them towards the crash site. The plan worked. The predators, drawn by the commotion, turned their attention away from the Endeavor and towards the crash site. Zara detonated the explosive, creating a massive explosion that engulfed the creatures and cleared a path for the rescue ship. A bittersweet reunion. With the predators dealt with, the Endeavor was able to land safely. Captain Ryder and his crew rushed to Zara's aid, shocked to find her alive and well. They quickly loaded her and Pebble onto the ship, preparing for takeoff. As the Endeavor lifted off, Zara took one last look at the planet that had been her home for weeks. She knew that she would never forget the lessons she had learned here. The importance of resilience, adaptability, and the strength of unexpected friendships. With Pebble by her side, Zara settled into her seat, ready to return to the world she had once known. But a part of her would always remain on that alien world, a testament to the power of the human spirit and the bonds that can form even in the most unlikely of circumstances. Exploring the ancient ruins. As the Endeavor soared away from the alien planet, Zara felt a mix of relief and sadness. The weeks spent on that strange world had changed her. She had formed a bond with Pebble, faced unimaginable dangers, and discovered the resilience within herself. Yet the allure of the planet's mysteries tugged at her curiosity. A new mission. Once aboard the ship, Captain Ryder welcomed her back with open arms. "We thought we lost you out there," he said, his voice filled with concern. "What happened?" Zara recounted her harrowing tale of survival, from the crash landing to her encounters with the alien predators and her unlikely companion, Pebble. As she spoke, she could see the crew's expressions shift from worry to awe. "Your experiences could provide invaluable insights into this planet," Ryder said thoughtfully. "We need to learn more about it before we leave this sector. It could hold secrets that could change everything we know about alien life." Zara's heart raced at the prospect of returning to the planet, this time with a team of scientists and explorers. She felt a sense of purpose rekindling within her. She wanted to uncover the truth behind the ancient ruins she had glimpsed in the cave. Preparing for return. The Endeavor's crew worked tirelessly to prepare for their return mission. Zara assisted in gathering equipment and supplies while sharing everything she had learned about navigating the dangers of the planet. Pebble became a beloved mascot among the crew, its gentle demeanor winning hearts as they all prepared for their next adventure. As they approached the planet once more, Zara felt a mix of excitement and trepidation. The vibrant purple landscape unfolded beneath them like a living tapestry, and she couldn't help but wonder what other secrets lay hidden within its depths. Touching down, the Endeavour landed in a clearing near where Zara had crashed. The crew disembarked, armed with advanced scanning equipment and protective gear. Zara led them back to the cave where she had first sought refuge, eager to show them the ancient markings that had captivated her. Inside the cave, Zara illuminated the walls with a portable light source. The glowing symbols shimmered as they cast eerie shadows across the rocky surface. The scientists began taking readings and documenting their findings, while Zara explained what she had observed during her time there. "This place tells a story," she said, tracing her fingers over one particularly intricate carving that depicted a celestial event, perhaps a star alignment or an eclipse. "I believe these beings understood their environment deeply." Unraveling mysteries. As days passed, Zara and the crew delved deeper into their research. They discovered that the markings not only told stories, but also contained information about various plants and creatures on the planet. Some were medicinal, while others were dangerous. One evening, while reviewing their findings in camp, one of the scientists excitedly called out to Zara, "Look at this. The patterns in these carvings resemble some of our own genetic sequences." Zara's eyes widened in disbelief. "Are you saying there's a connection between us and this civilization?" The scientist nodded vigorously. "It's possible. If these beings once thrived here, they might have shared some genetic material or knowledge with early humans. A shared legacy. The implications were staggering." Zara felt a sense of kinship with this long-lost civilization. Perhaps they too had faced struggles against overwhelming odds, just as humanity did now. With newfound determination, Zara proposed an expedition to explore more ruins scattered across the landscape. There was so much left to uncover. The potential for understanding not just this alien world, but humanity's place within it was tantalizing. The crew agreed enthusiastically, and together they set out into the wilds beyond the cave system. Each step was filled with anticipation as they trekked through vibrant forests and across rocky terrain, discovering more ruins. After several days of exploration, they stumbled upon an ancient structure partially buried under vines and foliage. A temple adorned with intricate carvings that seemed to tell stories of cosmic battles and harmonious coexistence. Inside, they found remnants of technology that hinted at advanced knowledge. Tools made from materials unknown to them, but clearly designed for specific purposes. It was as if this civilization had reached heights far beyond what humanity had achieved. Zara felt exhilarated as she ran her fingers over one particular device, resembling an energy generator. "This could revolutionize our understanding of energy sources," she exclaimed. A warning echoes. However, amidst their discoveries came an unsettling realization. Many of these artifacts bore signs of destruction, scorch marks and signs of battle etched into their surfaces. It seemed that whatever had caused this civilization's fall was not merely natural, but perhaps something more sinister. One night around the campfire, Zara shared her concerns with Captain Ryder and the crew. What if these beings faced extinction due to external threats? What if those threats still exist? Ryder nodded gravely. "We must remain vigilant. If there are remnants of hostile forces still lurking here, we need to be prepared." A new threat emerges. Just as they settled into their plans for further exploration, alarms suddenly blared from their equipment, a warning signal indicating movement nearby. The crew sprang into action as they grabbed weapons and prepared for potential danger. Zara's heart raced as she recalled her previous encounters with predators on this planet. She looked at Pebble, who seemed alert and ready for anything. As shadows moved among the trees surrounding their camp, Zara's instincts kicked in. She knew they needed to defend themselves against whatever threat awaited them. Facing their fears, emerging from the underbrush were not just predators, but also remnants of Vorak soldiers, those who had chased her initially during her crash landing. They were back, seeking revenge for their fallen comrades. Zara quickly devised a plan to protect her team while using knowledge gleaned from studying both ancient markings and current threats on this planet, with Pebble by her side guiding them through twists and turns in terrain. The crew fought bravely against overwhelming odds once again, proving that human ingenuity combined with newfound alliances could overcome even seemingly insurmountable challenges. As laser fire lit up the night sky around them, the battle raged on. But deep down inside, each member knew victory was possible if they worked together against all odds. The final showdown. The chaos erupted around them as laser blasts illuminated the darkening sky like shooting stars gone awry. Zara fought alongside Captain Ryder and his crew against overwhelming numbers. Adrenaline surged through her veins as she recalled every lesson learned during her time on this alien world. Strategizing under fire. Fall back, Captain Ryder shouted over the din of battle as he directed his team toward higher ground near some rocky outcroppings that would provide cover from enemy fire. Zara quickly glanced at Pebble beside her. It seemed attuned to every shift in energy around them, its instincts honed by nature's harsh realities guiding their movements amidst chaos. "Let's use those rocks," Zara yelled back at Ryder while pointing toward an elevated position where they could gain an advantage over their attackers below. "Good idea," Ryder agreed before signaling his team forward toward safety, while keeping watchful eyes on advancing Vorax soldiers who appeared relentless in pursuit. Turning tides. Once safely positioned behind cover, the crew regrouped, quickly assessing injuries sustained during initial clashes, but also recognizing newfound resolve among each other's spirits. "Now we can use our surroundings," Zara declared confidently after catching her breath momentarily before continuing with renewed vigor. "We've studied their movements. We know how they operate." Ryder nodded appreciatively at Zara's leadership skills blossoming throughout this ordeal. Her time spent surviving alone on this planet had transformed her into something more than just an astronaut. She'd become a warrior. "Let's set traps," he suggested enthusiastically while outlining strategies based on observations made earlier regarding Vorax behavior patterns during skirmishes. They would exploit weaknesses rather than fight head-on. Crafting their defense. Using materials scavenged from both shipwreck debris and ancient ruins, the team worked swiftly crafting makeshift barricades alongside traps that would slow down or incapacitate approaching enemies. Zara took charge, creating diversions by utilizing sound devices fashioned from remnants found within temples, echoing eerie noises designed specifically to confuse foes while drawing attention away from vulnerable positions occupied by teammates preparing defenses. "Now," Ryder commanded loudly when everything was finally set into motion, their plan ready for execution. As Vorax soldiers advanced closer, Zara activated sound devices, creating disorienting echoes throughout terrain, causing confusion among ranks, leading directly toward traps laid strategically ahead. A clash of strengths. The Vorax soldiers fell prey to their own arrogance, believing victory was assured until suddenly caught off guard by unexpected obstacles, hindering progress, dramatically slowing down advance, allowing time for counterattacks initiated by humans who fought fiercely, reclaiming ground inch by inch. Laser fire erupted again, illuminating darkened skies, reflecting determination etched upon faces filled with grit, fueled by hope against overwhelming odds. Each blast resonating loudly, echoing stories shared amongst allies, united through struggle, forging bonds stronger than any fear could break apart. Zara felt invigorated, knowing every moment counted. Each decision made mattered deeply, not only for survival, but also preserving legacy left behind by ancient civilizations who once thrived here, now intertwined forevermore within fabric woven through shared experiences between species. A moment of triumph. Finally, after what felt like hours battling relentless foes, the tide began turning favorably towards human forces. Vorax soldiers started retreating, realizing defeat loomed closer than anticipated. Fear sparked within ranks, causing chaos among previously organized formations, leading directly toward victory, claimed by those deemed lesser beings fighting fiercely against all odds. with one final push forward. The last remaining Vorax soldiers flowed into darkness, leaving behind echoes resonating through valleys. Once filled only silence now replaced laughter, shared among comrades, celebrating hard-fought triumph achieved together, despite challenges faced along way. Breathless yet exhilarated, they stood victorious, surveying battlefield-littered remnants, both past present intertwined forevermore, reminding everyone involved how resilience can overcome even darkest moments when united together fighting for common cause. Reflecting on their journey, as dawn broke over horizon, painting skies golden hues, illuminating landscape around them, a sense of fulfillment washed over each member present, realizing journey undertaken transcended mere survival. It represented unity forged amidst struggles, shared strengthening bonds, formed throughout experiences endured together, forevermore etched within hearts, souls alike. Zara looked at Pebble, nestled comfortably beside her, feeling gratitude swell inside, knowing without companionship forged during trials faced, none would have emerged victorious today. "We did it," she whispered softly, brushing fingers gently across creatures' smooth skin, feeling warmth radiate back, reassuringly affirming connection built transcending language barriers, uniting two species through shared experiences, overcoming adversity side by side, forging friendships lasting lifetimes. Captain Ryder approached, smiling broadly, extending hand towards Zora, acknowledging efforts made throughout mission, undertaken together, recognizing growth witnessed firsthand, transforming individuals into heroes, capable inspiring others, future generations yet unborn, reminding everyone importance, working collaboratively, striving toward common goals, achieving greatness together, despite differences encountered along way. Let's gather, everyone. We have much work ahead, rebuilding understanding.